Breaking news.
Drama! Yes, drama when it comes to Manchester United.
It's all kicking off.
Man United won't break the bank for him. And if Man United won't break the bank for him, they've got other targets.
What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Friday. It's the end of the week. It's pinch punch, start of the first of the new month. I'm still recovering from the other day. I thought I had the energy in me. This morning. Yes, I do. We're gonna ramp it up. Yes, this is the transfer view and Benjamin Sesko. Yes, we're going to be talking about him because a first bid could be imminent for the RB Leipzig striker. Why? Because Manchester United, according to the reports, have communicated as such with the German side. They are willing, ready, and prepared to put in a formal bid to sign the Slovenian striker if Benjamin Sesko tells Manchester United, that's where I want to go. Of course, Newcastle still in the race. Newcastle still are willing and ready to throw the world at Sesko. We'll give you the salary we want. We'll pay what RB Leipzig wants. Please come to St. James's Park. Please don't be another player that's going to reject us for Manchester United this summer. For Manchester United, they're saying, Sesko, if you say yes, we'll initiate and do the rest. We will put in a bid. We will negotiate with RB Leipzig. All you have to do is say yes to us. Say, I only want to go to Manchester United. And then we can do a deal. It feels like, folks, doesn't it? It feels like this one is going to happen. Now, I might be getting a bit carried away with myself. I've been known to do it once or twice in the past. You know, I've been spending too much time around KG, that comedian. But it feels like this one may happen, possibly. This is the transfer view where we talk Manchester United transfers, rumours and everything else in between. Hope everyone is doing very well. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. We are nearly at 500 people watching already, and we're nearly at 100 likes. We're 13 away. So click the like button if you haven't already. I can see people in the chat this morning. I can see Stephanie Griffiths in there, one of our mods, says, good morning, Owen. Good morning, Stephanie. Who else is in? And Nikhil with the own emoji. Yes, the own emoji. Get it for your members. Fabsy says, good morning, Sir Owen. Not Sir just yet. More of a Lord. Yeah, more of a Lord Owen. Yeah, that's what I'm like. Lord Vader. Yeah, Lord Owen. As Nikhil says, hit the likes. Tabrez is in the chat, as always, saying morning. Look forward to more fan views from you, sir, this coming season. Season kicks off in just about 2 weeks' time at Old Trafford. V says morning. I can see everyone in the chat. Yes, Liam says morning, Owen. Lil Yo-Yo with the Owen emoji. And some people are mentioning the hot chip. We will get to it. We will get to the hot chip because... I'm a bit worried. Yeah, a little bit worried about the hot chip. I still think I'm okay. I still think I'm fine, but a little bit worried about the hot chip scenario. We'll talk about that later on. We are going to be talking about Benjamin Sesko. We are going to be talking about Alejandro Garnacho and his possible move to Chelsea. And we're also going to be talking about Gianluigi Donnarumma possibly being on his way to Old Trafford. The talks reportedly are very real, and so could be a hot chip in my future, which I thought I was medically disqualified from. This could be a life and death scenario, folks. Am I willing to do it, though, if we sign a new goalkeeper? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. I'm willing to put... Do you know the pain that Andre Onana and Bayern et al. Have put me through? That I'd be willing for gastrointestinal disaster for Donnarumma to come in? Of course. I'm very worried. I'm going to be honest. I'm very nice. As Chris says, was nice knowing you, Owen. We're going to have a nice sort of memorial service after the hot chip. It's going to be lovely. The funeral of Owen coming soon to UV. I think it'll be a big hit. It'll be a sad affair. We're going to get some people to speak and on my behalf and, you know, and their memories of me. It's going to be nice. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Yeah, it says funeral party. 200K / wake. For Owen, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, gonna be nice. Oh my goodness me! I was thinking that yesterday. I was hanging up the washing, and I was, you know, because that's what you get creases out, isn't that? Putting up on the little rack, and I was going, I don't know if I can actually handle that, but That's what we're going to do. If it happens, indeed. So yes, click the like button if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe. Quick programming note right there. You can see it in the sidebar. Trinity today, just because Flex and KG are in Atlanta, does not mean we're not going to get an episode of the Trinity. We will have a live episode of the Trinity today, as per usual, every Friday, 4 p.m. our time, UK time, live. So be sure to join us at 4 p.m. for that as well. Right. Let's move on. Let's begin by talking about Benjamin Sesko, the latest developments for United going after the RB Leipzig forward. So things are moving, folks. Things are advancing when it comes to Sesko, and a first bid could be incoming. Fabrizio Romano reporting yesterday that Manchester United indeed have informed RB Leipzig that they are prepared to send a formal bid for Benjamin Sesko if, and it's an if the player accepts the destination. Kind of similar, I suppose, to the Brian Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha scenario, whereby once Sesko declares his love for Manchester United, I only want to go to Manchester, I only want to go to Old Trafford, then Manchester United will proceed. They'll go forward and they'll put a bid in. It continues. It's coming from Fabrizio's post/video. He has said that Manchester United informed RB Leipzig about the plan to bid for Sesko, also to show evidence to the player that he's their top priority as a new striker. Now, Sesko will decide in the next days with Manchester United and Newcastle. Proposals on the table, of course. There has been a lot of reporting, though. The feeling, even within Newcastle, is that Sesko would prefer a move to Manchester United, even without European football. Of course, Newcastle offer the carrot, that is, you can play in the Champions League next season, and they still feel like Sesko's going to go, no, I want to go to the Theatre of Dreams, to be honest with you, mates. Romano said the following in his video: Manchester United, in the recent hours, that being yesterday, July 31st, with their directors made direct contact with RB Leipzig to inform them they are prepared to bid for Benjamin Sesko. They want to bid for Sesko, but will only do so if they get encouragement from the player that he wants to join. Like I said, very similar to Cunha and Mbeumo. Now it's on Sesko to decide. Newcastle are ready to pay, and Manchester United are ready to bid. Newcastle are prepared to match whatever is needed with Leipzig and the player. United are ready to bid and negotiate with RB Leipzig, which is different to Newcastle. Once again, Newcastle are basically saying, hey, RB, we'll give you how much you want for him? 70 million. Well, we're going to get more than that for Alexander Isak. It's going to be completely fine. Manchester United, as we know, it takes 3 or 4 bids to secure a player. We'll have the opening bid, which will be drastically low than the asking price they're looking for. We'll have the second bid, which is closer. We'll then have the third bid, which we all think is going to be accepted, but it doesn't. And then eventually we'll give them what they want, because that's how we operate. That's part of United's strategy to show the player that they are serious and ready to do business for Sesko on the club side. United are showing Sesko how ready they are by contacting Leipzig if the player wants to come. We are ready to bid. The story is entering important stages, and it's on Sesko to decide what he wants to do. Now, interestingly, Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail was saying Rasmus Hojlund is likely to leave if a deal is reached for Sesko, either through a sale or on loan, which is obviously very different to what he was saying post-match just a couple of nights ago. Of course, after that game, the 4-1 victory against Bournemouth, he was speaking to the media in the mix zone, and he said that basically the club hadn't told him anything, regardless of what happens, whether we sign a new striker or not, effectively. I want to stay. I want to fight for my place. I suppose it's sort of 2 schools of thought there. We all want lots of things, don't we? As I mentioned many times, Ana de Armas, I would like her, but she doesn't like me. Not that she even knows I exist. She's going out with Tom Cruise, by the way. I saw that on X the other day. I was scrolling through my timeline. I went, Tom Cruise? And I'm right here. But you get my point. We want lots of things in life. We don't get them. So Rasmus Hojlund may want to stay at Manchester United. That may be his plans, but sometimes plans change. You know, Manchester United might go to him and say, hey, Rasmus, you know, it's been nice, but it's just not really working out. It's time to find somewhere else. They might offer him as part of this deal. That still could be something that is discussed. So just because he wants to stay doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to stay. And then it's been reported in Germany this morning as well, of course, where RB Leipzig are based, by Christopher Michel, that Manchester United are very optimistic about negotiations with Sesko and Leipzig. And internally, they already assume a transfer as a possibility. Sesko has been on their radar and frequently watched him in action, maintaining contact with his team. Ineos have given the green light for the transfer to go ahead. So you feel like with the other report suggesting that Christopher Vavel was driving this one. That was the report that came out a day or so ago, wasn't it? That Christopher Vavel, Manchester United's director of recruitment, was really driving this one because he's got very strong links with RB Leipzig, of course, former, what was his title there? It was sporting director, technical director, director of football, one of those guys in the RB family. He signed him twice, once for RB Salzburg, again for RB Leipzig. He's got a history with the player, with the organizations. That's the in there. So you feel like from that point of view, that's why he's also driving it, because he knows the player well, believes in the player. And also he's got contacts within the organization so that there is a bit of an even footing to negotiate from, which is always very important too. So there is this kind of feeling, isn't it, that if Sesko decides, okay, I want to go to United, which he probably will, if reports in the Northeast are to be believed, reports coming out of Newcastle think that he's going to choose United, then we find ourselves in a similar situation to Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, which apparently is the only way we can do transfers this summer, which is we want the player to confirm, I only want to go to Manchester United, because the powers that be in Ineos and at United have realised once the player does that and draws that line in the sand, it's a lot easier to negotiate, because clubs, and we saw even Brentford tried to do it when Bryan Mbeumo had already decided I want to go to Man United, right? But Brentford still tried Spurs could be interested, and Newcastle, and they're more willing to negotiate and play ball with us. So we'll try and, we'll try and move them on that way and get ourselves a more favourable deal, perhaps. And because Bryan Mbeumo was like, no, I don't want to go there. I only want to go to United. Negotiate that deal. Negotiate me going to United. That's the only place I'm going to go. And I'm leaving. So figure it out. Once the player does that, then I think then RB Leipzig will be in a situation with Sesko that, well, then I guess I can't. We can't really negotiate. Newcastle are willing to give us this, but the player doesn't want to go there. So I guess we do have to figure out this Manchester United deal. So it does feel like, doesn't it, that one is going to happen. As far as the feelings on it, I mentioned before, hasn't really changed this. I spoke about this on the match view on Wednesday/Thursday. I was still am. It hasn't really changed my perspective on it. Did prefer Ollie Watkins. I mean, as we saw whenever we did a poll, I think Flex did a poll. I think I did a couple of them. It was very, very close. Sesko one day would edge it with like 52%. Watkins another day would edge it. Either option I'm happy with. I don't think just because you say you're leaning one way or the other, I don't think rules out the quality of the other option, if that makes sense. It's like being asked, what would you like for dinner tonight? Would you like a curry, or would you like a Chinese? And just because you say, I'll have a curry tonight, so you hate Chinese food. No, that's not what I said. I just said that's I would prefer that one, but that doesn't mean I hate that one. I like both. I like both. So it's the same with this situation. Manchester United need a striker. Manchester United need a striker. We need to score goals this season. We've struggled for scoring goals for the last however many seasons. Our best season out of the last 3 seasons under Erik ten Hag, when we finished 3rd in the league, was primarily based on us actually having a really good defense. David De Gea getting the golden gloves, us not conceding many goals, winning games by like 2 goals to 1-0, that kind of situation. We've struggled to score goals for the longest time. Now we've already added in goals and assists in terms of Cunha and Mbeumo, and they didn't even play the other night, and we still scored 4, which was encouraging, wasn't it? So if you could add those into the team and a striker, that's going to hopefully make a difference. Now, like I said, I still have reservations with Sesko in terms of, I think there will be an adaptation period, an adjustment period, which I don't think there would have been with Ollie Watkins. I do think longer term, Obviously, it's a better option because he's younger and there's a higher ceiling there than there would be for Watkins. I think that's a fair argument. But I think with Sesko, we are just going to have to then acknowledge that we are going to have to give him time and patience. And I just don't know. And I include myself in this. I don't know collectively our ability to give players patience and give players time to bed in, because evidence would suggest over the last couple of years, we don't really do that with a lot of players, do we? If they don't hit the ground running, and they don't hit the ground running immediately, they're washed up fraud bums who should leave the club and never play football again. So I would say just we have to acknowledge if we do sign him, you know, let's say at least 6 months a season, at least. Exo says we gave Hojlund 2 years of patience. Well, you could make an argument that we didn't, because a lot of people were done with him after first season. A lot of people were done with him halfway through last season. A lot of people were done with him after like 6 months, and he was even score goals then. So we did, and that's my only. Paul Merson settings. I worry for him, Jeff. I'll worry for him, Jeff, when it comes to that. Joe Fleming with the super chat says, if United don't sign a bloody goalkeeper, I am going to be livid. You heard it here, United, okay? If you don't sign a goalkeeper, you've got Joe to answer to, okay? He's going to be livid. He's going to be furious. And I'm with him. We need a goalkeeper. Amanor says, hot chip on the way. Prepare yourself, Owen. I mean, yeah. Amanor also says, why does Amram still rate Mountain Shaw? Move on. Hey, he said Luke Shaw was world class. World class. You know what? One of those ones, I've done a lot of press conference reactions, me. When I'm sitting here and I'm doing my notes and I'm getting things ready. When he was asked about Luke Shaw, which I was surprised someone asked him about anyway, because it's just like such a non-topic, isn't it? You know, he's not going to leave this summer. That's why I laughed when I saw those reports. I think it's from like The Sun, which is always laugh when you see a report from The Sun anyway. But I saw a report from The Sun, and it was like, oh, he's going to go to Saudi. It's like, no, he's not. But Luke Shaw is going to leave Manchester United when his contract expires. He's not going to go anywhere. And yeah, when he said Luke Shaw world class, I thought it's going to ruffle some feathers, that one. And as far as Mason Mount, I don't know. I was never an adopter of Mount coin, and I was never an adopter. I never put my Kev coins in Mason Mount. I said going into last season, one more injury and I'm done. And then I think he had like 3 or 4. So I can't go back on my word on that one, unfortunately. Lil Yo-Yo also says, Owen, can you name 5 Sesko songs? You're going to be shocked, Lil Yo-Yo. You're going to be shocked because I don't like that kind of sort of negativity and you doubting my ability, my sort of cultural understandings of these things. But the answer is no. No, I can't. No, I can't. But I resent the fact that you know I can't. I think all of you know me too well. Song, that's about it. In fact, if it wasn't for that song, I probably wouldn't even know who he is. You know, so yeah, don't. Uncle says GG may be using United as leverage for a new contract. Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. But like I said, we will talk about that shortly. If you haven't already, click the like button, folks. We've got close to 1,200 people watching. We're nearly at 300 likes. We're about 30 likes away from 300. So if you haven't already, click the like button. I saw a chat here from Rafi says, Owen, who's your dad going to buy on a shirt for this upcoming season? Now, if you were watching the match views recently, you would know that I shades of bad news Barra. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. I can confirm my father has purchased a couple of shirts this season. And I can also confirm, I didn't know about this until he literally just sent me a picture and said, I'm sorry. I'm not even joking. He just sent a picture and said, I'm sorry. Because I thought we were going to leave it, up to the UV community, but he just did it. I can't control him. He's a madman. He sent me a picture. He said, I'm sorry. Now, I said on the match view, I'm going to wait until the end of at least pre-season to reveal which of those players he's got on the back, because I don't want to jinx them for the preseason, because there's still a couple of games. And I don't think I'm ready for that kind of pressure. And it's sort of, I'm holding back. I'm being very careful with my words here as well. So I don't know if you can tell. Be very, very careful. So I will leave it until the end of pre-season, and then I will reveal. Maybe just before the first game of the season against Arsenal, maybe like the day or so before, I'll reveal who he's got. But I can confirm he does have shirts. I can confirm that those shirts have names. And just to double check. Yeah, I just looked at the picture again. I'm not comfortable saying it out loud at the moment. I'm not comfortable saying that out loud at the moment. Yeah, definitely not in pre-season. Definitely not. Absolutely no way. Yeah. Maybe whatever happens first, at the end of pre-season, or if we get to like 200K really quick or something, then I will. But yeah. Javid says hot chip throw-ins dad. Well, he's better at spice than me. But I don't know what that would do to him. Joe Fleming says, when does Shaw's contract expire? When I think, is it 2027? Contract expiry? Yeah, June 30, 2027. He signed a new 4-year deal in April of 2023. The last time he sort of played most of the season, wasn't it? Yeah, crazy. But yeah, honestly, that every time I look, do you know how scarred I am with like that whole shirt thing? That I every time I see the new picture, I block it out of my mind, and then I go back to it and I see it again. I just think, oh my god, this is. I will read actually his message he sent to me when he sent this. He said, "Evening, how you doing? You'll be interested to know I have made my shirt selections for this season." And then he proceeded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 dots. ... I apologize in advance, is what he said. That is a quote from my father. So get to the end of pre-season, and then we'll figure it out. Okay, folks. Let's talk about Alejandro Garnacho. And his possible move to Chelsea. Now, there were some rumors and rumblings, wasn't there, that there was a situation where, Garnacho, they had concerns over attitude, and perhaps, when it comes to attitude or character, that with what's happened at United, that Chelsea wouldn't be interested. Well, according to Matt Law from the Daily Telegraph, Chelsea have no fears over Alejandro Garnacho's character. After conducting background checks, club are now playing the waiting game over a potential bid. Now, it's our favourite game, isn't it? That's the waiting game. Our favourite game is the waiting game. But it feels like this. It feels like this Garnacho one. The Garnacho one's quite interesting, isn't it? Because it has gone quite quiet, hasn't it, with him? The only thing we hear is he wants to stay in the Prem. And then we just don't really hear anything for like a week or for 2 weeks. That just nothing. He wants to stay in the Prem. All right. And I've mentioned this quite a lot recently that, okay, if you want to stay in the Prem, sort of the clubs that you could potentially go to, it does limit you. He's not going to go to City, Arsenal, Liverpool. I suppose that Chelsea's the sort of best of the rest that he could go to. And just because they're signing Xavi Simons doesn't necessarily mean that they won't sign him, because I think we've all learned at this point with Chelsea, don't we, that they just love signing wide players. And they still do have, vacancies, if you will, in that situation, because obviously they signed Kenda from Sporting, but he doesn't come until next year. Mudryk has got suspended because of the ban. Obviously, they did lose Jadon Sancho, which would have been a wide player. So you've already got sort of 3 absences there. They are bringing in Simmons, and they are going to sign other players, but they do stockpile players, don't they? And they move a lot of players on. They just sold João Felix to Saudi. Nicholas Jackson still probably will end up leaving this summer, just not to us. They sold Madueke, that's true, maximum. So the Garnacho one is still very much a possibility. And you feel like he's probably, of all the clubs, he's probably holding out for them the most. Obviously, he was linked to Chelsea in January. And with that move to Chelsea in January, let's not pretend. And I don't think we maybe did a good job of this in January. I remember, shout out Eminem, not the rapper, the member of the UV community, who did mention this quite a lot in January. He was very vocal in pointing it out by saying that back and forth between Garnacho's camp and Chelsea in January, that wasn't a one-way thing. That wasn't Chelsea just, we want to get Garnacho. We're going after Garnacho. We're just going to get Garnacho. And Garnacho and his entourage are sitting there completely innocently. They just approached us, like they were, sitting at a bar, twiddling their hair. You're interested in me? It wasn't that. This was a two-way thing. They were both initiating contact. This was Garnacho's camp entourage reaching out to Chelsea, trying to facilitate a move too, because he was having problems with Ruben Amorim. Now, credit to him for the remainder of the season. He did remain professional enough. I say enough because I still think there were issues behind the scene, but professional enough to still be involved in the team on a match day and still get selected by Ruben Amorim. But clearly there was issues there. Clearly there's bad blood there. And a bit like, I suppose, with Rashford, where maybe he figured out in January, well, I can't go to Barca yet. I'm going to have to go somewhere. I think maybe Garnacho may have had a bit of a similar realization of, maybe the Chelsea thing isn't going to happen now, but in the summer I can revisit that and we can go there in the summer. So I think probably Chelsea might be his preference. And then, of course, if he doesn't end up going to Chelsea for whatever reason, I suppose there is like a Spurs he could go to. They've got money to spend, as was evident by the whole Gibbs-White situation. I know this morning they've just signed Palhinha on loan with an option, not an obligation, but an option. It looks like Heung-min Son could be on his way to the MLS. That move to LAFC is up in the air. So obviously that would be a big loss in terms of wages. They probably wouldn't get a lot of money for him, but that'd be a big loss in terms of wages. And they'd look to be replacing him as a wide player. So he could end up going to Spurs, perhaps. And then maybe with Newcastle, depending on what happens with Alexander Isak, they might have money left over once they replace him in terms of the striker that they bring in. So there is a couple of options, but you feel like Chelsea, just by all of the links and all of the stories, that's probably the one he wants the most. And I was thinking this morning, and I wonder what you guys think about this too, because I can see a situation, right, where Alejandro Garnacho goes to Chelsea and he will have good games. He will do fine. He will do well. He might do very well, in fact. And I wonder if the fans are prepared to manage that. Are we prepared to manage that? Because obviously we do this thing when players leave, where I think maybe it's an element of copium, where we sort of pretend that the players aren't good. The players are rubbish. They'll do rubbish elsewhere, and we'll all point and laugh at them as they do rubbish elsewhere. Well, that's not really the reality, is it? They're going to do well. It's just whether you should care or not. For me, once a player leaves Manchester United, I really don't give a shit. unless it's like a loan, like in the case of Rashford, where obviously I cared to an extent of I hope he does well so that they buy him next summer, so we get the full 30 million of pure profit or whatever it is. But like whenever Sancho went on loan to Dortmund, or to an extent, particularly last season at Chelsea, because I thought we were completely, we'd washed our hands of him basically because of that obligation, which wasn't an obligation. I really didn't care. So when, a couple of performances, he got man of the match, didn't he? And was doing the interviews after the match, and you get the, look at Man United, they fumbled the bag. Who cares? Who cares? But I'm just saying that I think that will happen with Garnacho. I think if he went to Chelsea, I think he'd do better than Jadon Sancho did at Chelsea. I think Garnacho, wherever he goes, he will do well because he's not a bad player. His finishing isn't great, to say the least. And I must say, watching Man United play Bournemouth a couple of days ago, it was beyond refreshing to see Manchester United get a chance in front of goal and be clinical. Oh, my God. How refreshing was that? Seeing we're through on goal. Oh, we actually scored. That's nice. That's good. Victor says McTominay. The McTominay one's a really good example as well, isn't it, actually? Because I wonder what that would have been like if that was in the Prem. Obviously, look, he went away to Napoli, won the league, and got player of the season. And again, I think maybe it goes back to a bit of sort of copium, but there was still this kind of like people that didn't like him or said he wasn't good. There was still this reluctance to acknowledge that he might actually be all right. You know what I mean? Because there was, with McTominay and his tenure at United, there was such a, this is a guy that would score goals, winning goals, and still get criticized for scoring goals. He'd come on and win us the game or score a winning goal and it'd be like, yeah, he's still shit. He's still rubbish. And you go, well, clearly he's not. Maybe he's not right for United, or maybe he's not right for this place. And maybe in an idealized United, he might not be super out, but he's not rubbish, clearly. And then obviously last season, he goes to Napoli, does really well, wins the player of the year, wins the Scudetto. And it was, but that's Serie A, good for him, man. Good, very much good for him. If that happened in the Premier League, that would have been a really bitter pill to swallow, wasn't it? That was a real bitter pill to swallow. That would have been tough. And I'm not saying Garnacho is going to do that, but I mean, Chelsea, they've been winning trophies recently. So if Garnacho goes to Chelsea, there's a real good chance that Chelsea could win a trophy. That's what they've started doing, winning the Europa Conference League, Club World Cup, the world champions. So, I think we just have to prepare ourselves for that. Myself, personally, I don't care. You know what I mean? I really don't care how well or not well he does. Either way. If he does bad, say he goes there and he flops massively, it does not make me feel any better. I go, oh, I was right. It's more just the coach we've got and the powers that be that we have decided that he's not for them. So the best thing for him and the best thing for us is that he gets moved on. And he's a academy player, pure profit. We can reinvest that. So here's hoping that one does advance more and move on a bit more quickly. A couple more super chats here. Super Arch says, you dare not wait till Arsenal to reveal. No, I've got to. Not even necessarily not just as a tease or a marketing ploy, if you will. I've got to because of safety. Genuine for safety. I've got to, I think, out of safety for the players that are named on the shirts that my father has bought. I'm not comfortable revealing that information in pre-season, putting that curse out there in pre-season after several years of suffering major injuries in pre-season, right? With Kobe Mainu, Ahmad, Lenny Yoro. I even remember first season, Eric Ten Hag played Anthony Martial through all of the pre-season, did really well. Oh, it's going to be great. Press conference for the first game against Brighton, sits there. Anthony Martial's not available. He's got a hamstring problem? Or a calf problem? So what happened? What happened? So not yet. But inevitably, maybe when something bad happens after it. But I'll do it before Arsenal. Tabarez says if he's got Euro moving to US. Comment. No, he doesn't have. He doesn't have Lenny Ore. No. Like a game of Guess Who, he doesn't have Lenny Ore. No. That's the only hint. That's the only hint. Okay, is that I can confirm. Like Anton Deck in the Jungle. Lenny Oro, it's not you. Okay, that's what it. I can. That's all I will do. That's all I will do. No more. Speaking of no more, well, maybe no more Owen. This could be the announcement of my funeral, folks. Because if you will remember, cast your minds back. Whatever match view it was it the first one of the US? I think it was the first one. Or I might have even spoken about it when we played Leeds in Sweden. About the first time these rumours came out about Donnarumma. Manchester United getting Donnarumma. I said Donnarumma. It was Donnarumma. Just that. Just a rumour. It's not going to happen. We get this all the time. He's just won the Champions League. He's one of the best goalkeepers on the planet. We've got Andre Onana in goal. You know, he's got big wages. We're not going to get Andre Onana. We're just being used like we always are. We're not. I was so confident that this isn't going to happen. I said, if this happens, if Manchester United sign Donnarumma, if Manchester United is between the sticks at Old Trafford, then I will do a hot chip. I don't even know if I can do a hot chip. I'm the same person that I have Nando's sauce mild and I go, it's got a bit of a kick to it. I'm the same person that I'll have popcorn chicken from KFC and I have to limit how many I have at one time because I go starting to build up a little bit of heat. And I said I'm willing to do a hot chip. Hottest pepper. Hottest chip on the planet because it's not happening. Well, then the news came out. According to Jan Agerflortoff, because there was a bit of back and forth of this. Obviously, the rumours came out, and then Fabrizio Romano said, despite these rumours, nothing's happening. And I've said, good, tell them, Fabrizio, nothing is happening. Then Jan Agerflortoff, easy for me to say, says, there were some reports yesterday that Gianluigi Donnarumma to Manchester United was a non-starter. That's not correct. The process is on. These talks are going on. Furthermore, Sky Sports confirmed it, said Manchester United are indeed interested in Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma. However, you do get reports coming out of France this morning, said Manchester United have inquired about Gianluigi Donnarumma with PSG. However, United aren't expected to pursue a deal unless they make major sales, which still, of course, could happen with the likes of Garnacho, with the likes of Jadon Sancho, with the likes of maybe Erasmus Hojlund and what have you. So we have inquired, but there's still a lot that would happen. But the interest, at the very least, is legitimate. Now, I got to think of this two ways, okay? And Anthony, Sean, you're very right. I got to look at this a couple of different ways. First of all, I still don't think this is going to happen. Because it still doesn't make a lot of sense to me as to why he would leave PSG for us. Just won the Champions League. He is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. They are the best team in Europe, arguably the world. It doesn't make sense. But they've just signed a goalkeeper. And I think he's got a year left on his contract. Let me check. Donnarumma contract expiry. It's at the end of the season. His contract expires next year. He's got 1 year left. Just won the Champions League. They've just signed a new goalkeeper. Okay. So you can see why PSG would be thinking, okay, maybe. That one does have legs to it. I still say that I think the end result here is Donnarumma signs a new contract with PSG. I think that's what he will probably end up doing. I think. Was I as confident with that statement as I was a couple of days ago? Absolutely not. Not so much I'd bet a hot chip on it, but I've already done that. So I'm kind of effed in that regard. I still think it ends up with him signing a new deal at PSG. But as just the fan in me, if we signed Gianluigi Donnarumma to replace Andre Onana, pardon my language, holy fucking shit. Talk about an upgrade. Donnarumma, for me, when you're talking about the best goalkeepers in the world, is in that conversation. He might not be the best, but I think when you have that conversation about who are the sort of best around right now, you have that conversation about him. Genuinely. And I was saying this even before that Champions League run last season, but there was some criticism of him because he made a mistake. Was it against Liverpool when he made a mistake? And he was, Donnarumma is rubbish. We saw them for the rest of that tournament. In some games, single-handedly carry PSG through with some of the saves he was making. Against Aston Villa, when PSG looked like, I'll tell you what, Villa are going to catch him here, and Villa were on the way back. The saves he was making, I think it was the header from Rashford, was it? Another one, he tips it around the post. He was brilliant. And these are saves. This isn't the can he pass it out from the back or what's his distribution? Like, screw distribution. Distribution is so overrated. We have learnt it, okay? Can you receive the ball so that you're comfortable with the ball at your feet and then pass it? That's it, okay? Screw the whole Ederson, long-range passing, your quarterback's your goalkeeper kind of rubbish, because that's been overplayed. Can you make saves? Can you keep your team in the game by making saves? We saw that against Aston Villa. Against Arsenal, he was brilliant. Both legs, home and away, top saves. One from Odegaard. There was one at the Emirates as well, which he tipped around the post. I think it might have been from Saka. He was absolutely sensational. Just brilliant. And he did it all the way through the tournament. We've seen it at an international level for Italy, in an Italy side that ended up winning the Euros and then didn't qualify for either World Cup because they're not that good. They're not that good. But he made big saves. Obviously, penalty shootout, which we lost England. Like, he's top. This is a guy. He was playing golf for AC Milan when he was 16. 16. Like, he's that good. He's so good that was AC Milan. They give his brother a contract to try and keep him happy. He's a ridiculous goalkeeper. Now, maybe Luis Enrique might be looking at it like, because with Donnarumma, he's not the best with his feet. There are goalkeepers that will be better with their feet than Gianluigi Donnarumma, and maybe that's where Luis Enrique is going, where he's just like, you know what, I would just prefer someone to be better with their feet. I don't care. You can have Andre Onana then. He's great with his feet, but fine. If we sign Donnarumma, that is, I can't even explain what kind of an upgrade that is. I can't. That's like going from, I don't know, dragging yourself on your stomach like a snake as a means of travel to a private jet. It's just a different reality. It's just a different reality. So if we signed him, in terms of the upgrade, going into a defense, which is actually quite good. Defensively, we're pretty good. We are. Like, our back three is solid. When you've got Lenny Yoro, who's only getting better, who's a top defender. Matthijs de Ligt, good leader, particularly in that back three. Again, not the most amazing defender, but good enough. Left centre back, there's so many options there at this point. You can have Shaw, you can have Aiden Heaven, you can have Mazraoui. I think the spot's open for anyone. Wing backs, Ahmad as the right wing back, as we've seen so far in the first 2 games of the US tour. Patrick Dorgu's been excellent. I think there's a lot of improvement to come from him. And I think people were way too harsh on him for a player, was it 20? And just 6 months into his United career. Oh, he's washed. He's washed. So, yeah, I think our defensively, I think we're quite solid. We are. Our biggest issue has been goals, which hopefully is rectified by the players we've brought in so far, and hopefully with Sesko, and the level of technical ability in the midfield. We don't really have many ball progressors. But if we added Donnarumma into that team, oh my God. Like, that's... I'd almost be happy to do it. You probably won't. The thing is with the hot chip, you probably won't see me for like a week, you know. And like I said, when you do see me next, it might be like on a drip, you know, to get fluids or something. But I'll do it, you know. I committed to it. I committed to it, so I'll do it. Hamza said the defense is good, but not title-winning level solid. Mate, we finished 15th. Let's take it in stages. Let's not go from 15th to suddenly it's winning the league or it's not good enough. Okay. I know that's the old Man United, but we're not that. Okay. And if you notice, actually, particularly against in the game against Bournemouth and also in the game against West Ham, we were going a lot more direct with the goal kicks. If anything, Ruben Amorim actually told the team at half time to have longer spells of possession because we were being too direct. He said we needed to actually hold on to the ball for a little bit longer. Our sort of spells of possession, we were trying to move it forward too quickly. So if Man United can pull that off, if Man United can pull that off, that would be just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So unbelievable that, like I said, I still am like, I don't think it will happen. I still do think that the end result will be him signing a new contract with PSG. But if the reason why I'm not as confident with him signing a new contract as I was a couple of days ago is that, well, he does have a year left in his contract, and PSG have signed another goalkeeper, I think, with an intention that he might go. And maybe he's not as good in terms of distribution as maybe Enrique would like, and because of that, he's decided to go. But again, Donnarumma, he's been around for so long because he started at AC Milan at 16. He's 26. He turned 26 this year. His birthday's in February. Like, and with his style of goalkeeper, he could literally be a goal for United for a decade plus at that age. He's 26 and one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So if Man United pulled that off, I don't know. I'm back. I'm back. What a craziness. What a craziness. Anyway, what was I talking about? Donnarumma, hot chip. Basically, it was a phone call from my doctor who said, I've been watching your stream. You can't do a hot chip. You can't do a hot chip. You're dying. It wasn't that. But thank you. And don't worry, everything's okay. Thank you for the well wishes. It's all good. Yes. But yeah, Donnarumma, I don't know where it's going to happen. But it's looking more possible, isn't it? More possible. You never know. So we'll see. Anyway, apologies for the delay there, folks. But I tell you what, that is bloody nice. Like like one of those ones where you don't realize how much people care until something bad happens or whatever. I'm not sure that's a saying, but yeah, very, very nice of you, very kind of you. Yeah, so but don't worry, it's cool. What's on tap for the rest of the day? Oh yes, right. It's Trinity. Trinity's going to be coming out 4 p.m. live as per usual here at United View. So that's going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be me, Flex, and KG in different boxes. It might just be me and then Flex and KG in another box because obviously they're together in the US. So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but that's going to be 4 p.m. It's It's going to be at 4 p.m., so that's going to be great. And then tomorrow it'll be a match preview and more stuff coming from Flex KG and Josh Media Graphics Guru Visual Ninja in Atlanta. And then Sunday it's match day, so it'll be Manchester United versus Everton. I'll be live on the Match View 2 hours before kickoff. Kickoff's at 10 p.m. UK time, so I will be live at 8 p.m. And I'll also be simulcasting. I'll have crossover. I'll be doing United View and OWEN Wrestling 365 at the same time for night 2 of SummerSlam. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, appreciate everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back later on. Have a good one. Peace.